Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving straight into the fascinating architecture of one of India's most powerful digital forces. We're unpacking a nifty Next 50 constituent that operates heavily behind the scenes, but has, quite frankly, fundamentally shaped the Indian internet landscape as we know it today. We're talking about InfoEdge. So let's kick things off by asking a seemingly simple question, one that actually reveals a massive unseen ecosystem. What do the food delivery giant Zomato, the insurance platform Policybazaar, and the recruitment portal Naukri.com all have in common? I mean, on the surface, they operate in completely different industries, right? But if you trace their financial and strategic DNA all the way back to its roots, you'll find they're all intimately connected to a single mastermind entity. Here is our roadmap for unpacking this digital iceberg today. 1, we'll define the tech holding powerhouse model. 2, we'll examine their core platforms. 3, we'll look at their aggressive acquisitions. 4, we'll dive into how they incubate unicorns. And finally, 5, we'll break down their FY25 performance.
Let's get right into Section 1, the tech holding powerhouse beyond a single website.
To really grasp what InfoEdge is, you have to stop thinking of them as just a standard .com company. The absolute crucial point here is that they are a technology holding company. This means they operate on multiple levels at once. They own their own platforms, they operate them directly, and they strategically invest in outside internet-led businesses. They're essentially the engine room backing a multitude of platforms you probably interact with all the time.
And, their origin story is incredibly grounded. InfoEdge was founded way back in 1995 by Sanjeev Bikhchandani. It's honestly mind-blowing to think this modern tech giant started decades ago by simply reproducing paper-classified ads from physical newspapers onto a website. From that very basic act of digitizing physical information, they laid the foundation for an absolute internet empire, long before the global tech boom really took hold in India.
Moving on to Section 2, core platforms driving revenue, the visible iceberg. Now, these are the highly visible, cash-generating businesses that InfoEdge built from the ground up to establish their dominance. This perfectly illustrates their sustained, long-term ecosystem building across employment, matrimony, real estate, and education over just about a single decade. In 1997, they launched Naukri.com, which completely changed recruitment in India. Almost immediately after, in 1998, they launched Jeevansathi.com for matchmaking. Then in 2005, they moved into real estate with 99acres.com, and by 2008, they tackled the education sector with Shiksha.com. Systematically identified the most important aspects of Indian civic and professional life, and they just digitized them. But here's where things get really interesting. Despite having this wide array of platforms, historically, over 70% of InfoEdge's revenue comes directly from Naukri.com, with the remaining 30% coming from the rest of the portfolio. Naukri is the absolute cash cow, and it's a brilliant business model, right? Using one unshakable market leader to quietly fund expansion and experimentation in entirely different sectors. Which brings us to Section 3, an aggressive acquisition strategy, expanding the footprint. So InfoEdge uses that incredible capital generated by their core platforms to strategically absorb specialized competitors and just broaden their digital reach. They aren't just building everything in-house anymore. Look at this breakdown. In 2017, they brought in AmbitionBox for workplace discovery. In 2019, they acquired IIMjobs.com to really tighten their grip on the premium recruitment sector. More recently, in 2022, they took a major stake in the dating app Isle and expanded their educational footprint by acquiring the edtech platform Coding Ninjas. They simply identify what's working out there in the market, and they bring it right into the InfoEdge fold.
All right, Section 4, incubating billion-dollar unicorns, the Kingmaker portfolio.
We are now zooming out to the most explosive, high-risk, and frankly high-reward layer of the InfoEdge iceberg, their venture capital plays. To manage all of this, they formalize their investment strategy to deliberately incubate early-stage technology startups across the country. In 2020, they set up InfoEdge Ventures as a dedicated alternative investment arm. Operating through specific funds like the InfoEdge Venture Fund and Capital 2B, they now hold minority stakes in over 23 different online companies. They are literally planting seeds across the entire digital economy. And when they plant the right seed, well, the results are breathtaking. 1,050 times. That is the reported return on their initial 4.7 crore rupee investment in the food delivery giant Zomato. Let that sink in for a second. It's an absolute testament to their unmatched ability to spot market disruptors years before the general public even catches on. InfoEdge was one of the very earliest believers in Zomato, funding them across 4 early rounds. And today, Zomato's scale is truly explosive. Their market cap reached around 2.5 lakh crore rupees, which is roughly 30 billion US dollars. Not only that, but Zomato turned profitable in FY24 with a 324 crore profit after tax. And InfoEdge? Well, as of July 2021, they still retained a massive 15.23% stake in the company. They took a huge risk early on and fully reaped the rewards of Zomato's massive evolution.
But listen, Zomato wasn't a fluke. They also backed Policybazaar right at inception, proving their strategic foresight as a true kingmaker in the space. InfoEdge reportedly invested in Policybazaar back in 2008, literally before the website was even officially launched. Fast forward to recent years, and as of November 2021, they held a 13.3% stake. And Policybazaar's parent company, PB Fintech, is thriving, recently achieving a 64 crore profit on the back of 34% revenue growth. That is back-to-back multi-billion-dollar foresight.
Let's wrap things up with Section 5, FY25 Financial Performance, the bottom line.
So, what does all of this platform building and venture investing actually add up to? 2,654 crore rupees. This is their massive FY25 revenue, acting as a clear proof point of their operational efficiency and exactly why they rightfully sit as a nifty next 50 constituent. Despite the massive investments and aggressive acquisitions, their core business engine just continues to churn out exceptional top-line revenue year after year.
But to really understand a company's health, we've got to look at profitability. When we juxtapose these two figures side by side, an operating income of 1,073 crore rupees against a net income of 977 crore rupees, we get an uncluttered view of a highly profitable, cash-rich business model. Their margins are just fantastic. This isn't a company just burning cash to grow at all costs. They are highly sustainable and immensely profitable. Looking at their incredible trajectory from simply typing up paper classifieds in the 1990s to incubating absolute titans like Zomato and Policybazaar today, it leaves us with one really burning question. With a massive war chest built from internal accruals and highly active venture funds, what sector will InfoEdge disrupt next? Because if history has shown us anything at all, the next massive app on your phone might just be backed by them. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.